the Mayo Experience.
Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience, presented by DraftKings. The Week 7 recap, Week 8 guessing the spreads, and of course, everything that comes in between. Jump into the live chat if you want to leave a comment about the show. We should smash the like before you sub to the channel, because if you're not subbed to Mayo Media Network on YouTube, then you can't get into the live chat. Makes complete sense. Cust is in studio. The Degenerate 75. James is on the line. Thanks for being on the show, man. It's exciting.
I'm pumped. Thanks for having me. And I got to lead with why will they watch every single piece of your content, but not just subscribe to the channel? I'll never understand these people. And it's like so many of them.
I don't know. That's a good point. I have no idea. Couldn't tell you why. Maybe they don't want the government tracking them.
Yeah, it drives me nuts.
Yeah, well, they should sub to the newsletter too. Enough people do subscribe. It is very nice, the people that do subscribe. How are you feeling with the Jets bye week?
Relaxed. In a very good mental space. Watching the AFC East take a step backwards is good for the Jets. Watching the AFC in general look continuously wide open outside of maybe Kansas City and maybe Miami. Things are looking pretty good right now. I feel pretty good about where they are at 3-3, coming out of a bye week, playing the Giants next week, getting Rodgers back in a couple of weeks. I'm feeling good about things. few weeks, not a couple of weeks, few weeks.
James, if you had to set the over-under of when Rodgers comes back, what would you say that number would be?
Week 1 of next year.
I don't see it.
I mean, that'd just be crazy. I know, like, that's just to think that he could be back this year on 4 months. I mean, that is such a serious injury. I remember when Kevin Durant did it here in Oklahoma City and destroyed our entire little town. That's bad. That's a bad news injury. I don't care what kind of magical 41-year-old man you are.
So simultaneously in the two games that are still going on, the Chiefs are going to win by 2 touchdowns because Herbert just threw a pick.
Not his fault, though.
Not his fault. Well, nothing could ever be Justin Herbert's fault. That would be impossible. Also, I think Jordan Love also threw a pick, and Christian Watson got hurt.
Oh, dear.
I think I went 0-3 on my best bets again. I am having an awful spread here. Saving my ass, James, this Run the Sims prop sniper. Just out of nowhere, the play was Mahomes, and now he had so many rushing yards when he's taking the knees, it's not even going to impact his over-under. It's fantastic news.
He gets there 2 scrambles every game. He's over 29 rushing yards all day. That was the best prop out there today. I got it at 29.5, and I even said on my stream last night to go hit the over on that.
Well, here's the thing: 29.5 is no longer safe, sir. He just took 2 knees to get back to 29.
Shut the front door.
Yeah.
I had already cashed the money. I didn't even know this. All right. Well, that's what I get for gloating.
25.5 was the number, although there was one place that had it 24.5. But hey, maybe he'll sneak one forward. I don't know. The one thing that I really wanted to bring you on to do today, and I forgot to tell you about it, so you can do it off the fly. I want to put teams into categories. Who are the great teams? Who are the trash teams? Then who's slightly above average? Who's slightly below average? That's really the route that I want to take here. We can try to recap the games as we go along through it. So, James, I'll start with you. If you had to create a tier of who the best teams, the great teams in the NFL are right now, who would be on that list?
First of all, I did my list ahead of time, and now watching some of these games, I'm having some buyer's remorse with this list all of a sudden. I also think that I have a huge bias towards thinking every team in the NFL sucks, because I looked at my list, and it's trending hard towards the bad and the terrible teams. I only put 4 teams in my elite category because I thought, hey, if you're elite, you should be making the conference championship game. So I basically thought, who are the 4 teams I think that are most likely to make the conference championship? And that was how I defined elite. And for me, those teams were 49ers and the Eagles and the Chiefs and the Ravens. I snuck the Ravens was the one I snuck the hardest about. That'll probably be the most controversial, but I would pick that as my 4 elite teams right now. They really impressed me today, the Ravens.
I only had 2 teams in my elite tier. It was just San Francisco and Kansas City. And then I had a group of 8 teams in the really good, but not elite, which would be Philadelphia, Dallas, the Ravens. I would have Buffalo and Miami in there, although Buffalo we'll talk about here in a second.
Lions.
The Lions would be in there, even though they got shellacked. Everyone gets shellacked now and then. It happens. Additionally, that's probably it. I'm trying to think. Is there anyone I'm missing from that group? I don't think Jacksonville's there. I don't think Cleveland is there. Cleveland, I think I did tweet this out, but we were talking about this. They because I watched most of that game because on the TV close to me, their defense was the 85 Bears for 90% of the game. And the other 10% of the time, they were Miami playing the Broncos from like 3 weeks ago. It was just like, it's an 80-yard play for the Colts or a negative play for the Colts, and a turnover or a sack strip or something like that. It was really bizarre. But Cleveland has a chance to be there if they could have a competent offense, but they don't.
I mean, they did score 39 points today.
Would you claim that their offense was competent?
No, I wouldn't. But like, they also had to switch quarterbacks mid-game. PJ Walker's not very good.
Deshaun Watson wasn't.
I don't think Deshaun Watson's very good either. The Browns ultimately are handicapped by not having a quarterback you can trust as they get into the late part of the season. My elite class would be the same as you, Chiefs and 49ers. That's all I would be able to put in there right now. I don't think everyone else, that's the elite. And then there's a second tier where I think you're too generous. I would have the Dolphins, Eagles, Cowboys, Lions, maybe Baltimore after today's win obviously showed something. Maybe. That would be it for that stretch. And then, like, Buffalo's nowhere close to that right now.
I mean, can you have Miami in there? Can you have Miami in there if you don't have Buffalo?
Buffalo has played 3 horrific football games this season.
Sure.
Miami's played 1 bad football game
Against the Bills.
Sure, but like that law of transitive properties doesn't really count when you start to really push on it. I'm just saying Buffalo has played poorly enough in over basically half their games that they are just there on spec if you have them there, not based on what we've seen through.
But I think that, James, a lot of this would have to go on spec, wouldn't it? Like, it's the overall what you think of a team. Like, I think that, look, the Bills basically can't play the Jets or Patriots, but they can beat the crap out of good Miami, which is really strange. I mean, Paul's a Bills fan. He walked into the studio today demanding that everyone on the Bills coaching staff be fired. So this is not new. He doesn't have a mic right now, so it's going to be tough for him to really yell. Oh, you do have a mic set. Look at Paul. Paul's on top of the game here with a lav mic.
Paul produces.
Fire. Oh. Nope. Test. That one doesn't work. I'll get a microphone going.
You just yelled fire. We know what's going on
he
here.
wants everyone fired, and like McDermott's not proved himself to be a good coach since he's gotten to Buffalo in terms of in-game decisions or, Dorsey's offensive play calling sometimes is suspicious. I mean, I don't know. Like, Buffalo could do better.
Well, maybe James, do we put the Chargers and Bills in the same tier then? Are they on like a tier by themselves where it's just like you look at the on-paper team, you're like, that team should be good. At least the Bills are ravaged by injuries on defense. What excuse do the Chargers have?
That was the biggest thing. That was the biggest issue I was having is I was trying to reconcile, do I go off what they've accomplished thus far or am I going off the makeup of the team? And what I ended up deciding on, it was just kind of a mixture of those two, right? So that's how I could end up getting some teams into my good category that may have not been playing quote unquote good so far this year, but I think have the star pieces that you need to be a successful NFL team. So that was kind of what I landed on, but like it would just be preferable if you could be like the 49ers and do it on the field and have all the star pieces. But if you do that, to me, you're basically just going to get down to the 49ers and Chiefs and then kind of like everybody else. So I was trying to think of other teams that might be able to, on paper at least, compete with those teams. And that was why I was, and if I didn't do that, every fucking team was going to be in the bad or trash category.
Yeah, I think I'm with you though. Like right now, as it stands, we're not even at Sunday Night Football, so we haven't seen the Dolphins. If the Dolphins come out and lay the smackdown on the Eagles, I'm sure all of our perceptions are going to be changed. What if the Eagles beat them by 40? Then do we think that Miami's a good team?
No, but I don't think it changes my view on the Eagles either. Like, I think they're both a cut below the Niners and the Chiefs.
Okay, so but would you say that, because James had the Ravens up there, and as they were saying on the broadcast, the Ravens are like 2 plays away from being 7-0, but watching all their games today, they laid the smackdown.
Yes, they did.
But mostly every other game that you watch from the Ravens, it feels like they're also 3 plays away from like giving up. Like even that game they won against Tennessee, they dominated Tennessee. They could have lost that game.
Yeah, I'm not there yet with Baltimore, in part because they don't trust anybody not named Mark Andrews catching the ball.
Zay Flowers has been good.
Yeah, sure. Everybody has flaws. I still think I would take Cincinnati in that division. They're not too far out of it yet to make a run, but
yeah, I mean
the bye came at the right time for them.
They're 2 games back. Yeah, where did you have Cincinnati? Like when you were trying to parse everything out, would they still be a top 10 team for you?
So for me, the Bengals and the Rams were the two teams that I was pretty queasy about finishing out my good category with. Obviously, the Rams have just got demoted by losing to the Steelers. How embarrassing! But I feel pretty good about a 3-3 Bengals team being in my tier 2, which in this talk would be the good category. I still feel like they're a top 10 team. Whenever you factor in what they have on paper versus what they've accomplished this season, yes, I know they have not looked great, but they're definitely starting to trend in the right direction. I still believe they have a top 5 talented roster whenever you factor in the most important key positions.
I think I would take, would you take the Bengals over the Bills and Chargers right now?
Yes.
I think I would too.
Yes. But I think I might take the Jags over all three of them.
Nah, the Jags are real fool's gold.
I don't know. I might.
Fool's gold.
I just might.
They're fool's gold.
I just might.
Like you just watch them play, and I mean, I come on here and shit on the Saints every week. The Saints probably should.
Well, they get to play the Steelers next week.
Well, the Steelers will win the weirdest way possible. That's the only way that they can win.
Steelers, 49ers are their next two games that they have. So that will be a real testing for them.
So do we think that you said James, the Rams losing to the Steelers is like a bullshit loss? I mean, it was a bullshit call at the end of that game when Pickett didn't have a first down. They gave him the first down, and that was the end of the game.
Yeah, they were still down by 7.
Sure, but they didn't get a chance to come back.
Yeah,
they should have. They stopped them on 4th down.
They did. They had a lot of game that they had a chance to win when they were up by a lot of points.
Maybe you shouldn't have called Matt Stafford a stealth MVP candidate.
I thought
they were winning when you said that.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Just like that poor guy in the F1 race.
Charles Leclerc, who just went backwards.
He's great. It's like all of a sudden he's like down at the bottom.
That was unfortunate.
Yeah, but is Pittsburgh good, James?
Pittsburgh is not good. I will die on this hill. They are not a good football team. If they make the playoffs, I'll be shocked. If they win a game, I'll do something stupid with my facial hair because they're just not winning a playoff game. They're not a good football team. I know they're not. I watch them every week because it's my best friend's favorite team. So I always have to watch enough of the game to give them some constructive criticism about why there is some hope. But I know there's not. I'm lying through my teeth to them. They suck and they suck bad. And I think with the Rams, the reason that I kind of overestimated them a little bit is, just we're all fantasy football players. And I think I was getting a little biased with Cooper Kupp coming back, the rise of Puka Nacua, Matthew Stafford seemingly finding the fountain of youth. And I kind of forgot that they just have a ton of holes on that roster and that they're very vulnerable in a lot of places. So I regret ever putting them on my good list.
I think the Steelers are just going to punch above their weight. They will put themselves in the best position to get lucky every single week. They'll muck up the games. They're going to keep it close, and they'll get a few breaks, and they're coached well enough in important decision-making time, like crunch time for the Steelers goes really well. It feels like their overall game plan is they have no game plan. It's just like, hey, Pickett, don't throw us out of the game for 3 quarters and then turn on some magic. Their defense is still pretty good. They were getting to Stafford. They were making him run.
They're an enigma. They're hard to figure out because, I don't think they're good, but I think James is going too far. They're not bad either. In the AFC, the way things are looking, they're already at 4 wins. They have some soft games left on the schedule. I would say they're probably mathematically more likely than not at this point to make a wild card spot. I mean, it doesn't mean it's going to happen, but everyone in the AFC is bunched. There's no one-loss teams left in the AFC with the Patriots and Broncos winning today. The worst teams all have 2 losses or 2 wins, and so there's a lot to be said. Thank you, Paul.
They're all cooled down.
So the air fryer is
no,
good?
They are not. That is not true.
You just heard the timer go
off.
But
then he said, I don't know, maybe he had a cooling system in there. I don't know. There's probably fans that you could do a cooling cycle with. These air fryers are so cool.
You want a cooling cycle for your food?
In the same way, to cool it down a little bit. The same way that hair dryers have a hot and cold setting.
Do you use a lot of hair dryers?
No, I don't.
You sure?
But I'm just saying. Yeah, this doesn't happen by accident, folks. I'm just saying, when he says that they've cooled down, I thought that maybe put them through a cooling cycle.
You just heard them. You heard the ding go off.
But then he told me that they were cool. So I didn't expect he would be fibbing.
You could use some deductive reasoning on some of this
I just don't trust Paul.
You are dressed up like Marty McFly. I just thought you were from the future.
Maybe I am.
And this is all part of an act that you burn yourself every week on the air fryer. We're making Pop Tarts, by the way, James.
Yeah, we're having Pop Tarts this week.
Pop Tarts in the air fryer?
Yeah.
Man, Tim's gave the hard sell of the air fryer. I swear to God, I ordered one off Amazon listening to him. So I'm anxious to try it out. What's the first meal I should try out? That's what I really want to know because I'm all about trying this air fryer that I just paid $190 for. What chips?
Kale chips. They're so good in the air fryer.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. I mean,
they're so good.
all right. I won't hate myself. afterwards.
I made some today when you came over. I was having some kale chips. Just finished at the gym. Came back to the studio. Made some kale chips. Delicious.
They're so good.
Do you dip them in it? Do you dip them in anything?
You don't need
or
to.
Is it just straight kale chips?
Well,
They're just that good by themselves.
Well, you massage in a minuscule amount of olive oil into it. Put some salt on it. Put them in for like 4 minutes. Boom, you're good to go. Are they still really hot?
They're warm.
So here's the thing, James. I've never had a bite of a Pop-Tart in my life because my parents aren't like
No.
sadists and gave that to me as kids.
Pop-Tarts are great.
I'm sure that they are. They look, listen, if I was 8 and you were giving to me this for breakfast every day, I'd be wired the
I
entire
wouldn't have this every day, but like I would say a couple of times a month anyway. Growing up, I'd have a Pop-Tart for breakfast. Absolutely.
I think the take here, and I hope Cust would agree with this, is that toaster strudels are better. Like they're noticeably better than Pop-Tarts.
Kenny Kim and I had this conversation on X earlier this week, and my point was I don't agree with that, but I love them both. I think they're both excellent, but I still prefer because the Pop-Tart is more versatile. You can eat it hot or right out of the package at room temperature, whereas toaster strudels, you got to heat them up to eat them. And so because of that, the slight lack of efficiency with the toaster strudel, it takes a slight step back. And you have to put your own icing on. How many Pop-Tarts?
That's one of the most reasonable arguments I've ever heard you say. Like very rarely I'm like, well, look at that reasoning by Tim. Okay, I'm in.
If you listen closely to the things that I say, what you will find is that they are laced with logic and common sense.
That's how you would describe your trackpad versus mouse take?
I stand by it. I mean, clearly the people. I mean, I've heard the voice of the people, and far be it for me to be deaf to the voice of the people. They feel very strongly in the opposite direction that I do. So I just have to put a big old L out there. Obviously, they all disagree with me. I don't understand how a big, bulky thing with your hand is more efficient than using the tactile capacities of your fingers, but that's what they believe.
It's like you've never used a mouse.
I'm not going to fight with them anymore. I'm not going to fight with them.
But you still believe you're right.
It doesn't matter what I believe anymore.
What I'm willing to concede, believe that you're right.
I concede that the people feel diametrically opposed, and as a tribune of the people, sometimes you got to let them have what they want. So, all right, fine, have your mouses.
If people look at the screen at the bottom of the table, that was the graphic that was made for this week's episode.
I know.
So let's go back to the 2 poll so that people can see it. So they can see it down on the desk here. So James, you are Ron Burgundy. You look great, by the way. I actually just kind of
as good as you.
I actually just look like Brick Tamlin, apparently. Like I am. So
it's insane.
Our graphics guy made this with a mouse in Photoshop. However, he decided to do Tim's face using only a trackpad, and that's how it looks.
I was wondering why he looks so ridiculous.
You look like you're melting. You look like fucking Freddy Krueger.
It looks like I have just found the Ark of the Covenant and have opened it up.
Yes,
that's what it looks like.
That's trackpad versus mouse right there in a nutshell. Also, if you look in the back, you see that little shiny thing?
The Coke fridge?
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed that from the other day. We talked about it on the show.
I know, but I got you some Pop-Tarts and I got you some, plugged it in and I got you some Coke to put in it.
Well, I can't get up.
You can get up.
Can I get up?
You can get up. Oh, yeah, you can get up.
I feel like there's something up here.
Nothing's up. I just want to see if you can get up and go get it. You can do it. I have a lot of faith in you that you can do this.
Okay. I'm not going to get shocked.
You're not going to get... No, I guarantee you will not get shocked.
Oh, I knew I was being tricked. I knew it. You're all out to get me. You're all out to get me.
Is it just me? Or
I don't want that.
Does Cust look like the Undertaker's real soft brother in the thumb? Like that's kind of what the hat and the facial hair.
He was like V1 of Kane.
My microphone working now?
I have no idea, but I can hear you.
1, 2.
Are they good? I'm excited to try my first ever Pop-Tart when it comes down to it. James, who did you have in your trash tier of players? Or of teams, sorry.
There was a bunch of them. I was trying not... the whole point of, trash is I really want to say these teams are trash, so I try not to overload it. I try to load up on bad. I wanted trash to be for teams that, I would bet my right testicle that they're going to amount to nothing this year. Some teams I had, the Raiders, the Commanders, Vikings, Cards, Broncos, Pats, Bears, Giants, Panthers. Those are all the teams that I was like, nothing's coming from those teams this year.
It feels like that's too many teams, though. Can we break that down into the worst 3 teams?
This is like Dante's layer of hell, and we can keep going. We can drill further and further down.
Which stage are we at? The 5th stage?
Yeah, the gluttonous. which I think is the third layer of hell, actually. But yeah, we're moving our way. Like at the very, very bottom, you have Carolina.
Broncos.
Broncos.
The Broncos just won.
Yeah, I know. Carolina Broncos, Patriots. I don't know who else is worthy of putting down there.
I mean, isn't Kyler Murray getting healthy?
If you
I've heard
told me
rumors he could be coming back.
Yeah, the Cardinals
So
certainly
that
have
makes
a
me
case
not want
for
to
that.
put Cardinals down there.
Cardinals have a case for it. You could tell me that you wanted to put the Packers there right now, and I would be okay with it. Packers are terrible.
Yeah.
Is it that the Packers
Bears.
are terrible, or is it that their offense is terrible, or are they just overall terrible?
The defense has been playing okay. You're right about that, but the offense has been.
What about the Giants? Like the Giants
Just played 2 good games in a row.
I don't know if they didn't play 2 good games in a row. The Bills played like shit, and the Commanders got sacked like 10 times.
Yeah, but
And
I
it's
mean,
not
the
like
Giants were the ones doing the sacking.
Sure, they more than doubled their sack count today. Yeah, I think it's more that Washington can't block versus that the Giants have a good pass rush.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a good question. Certainly, today was a bad day for the Carolina Panthers because did all the 1-5 teams win today? The Giants did. The Patriots did.
Broncos did.
And the Broncos did. So, are Carolina 2 games up on everybody?
Arizona.
No, Cardinals 1-6.
Yeah, Cardinals are 1-6. They're the only other team that could catch them. Interesting stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
Like if we had to pick the worst team, like it's funny though because although they haven't won a game, to watch Carolina, you don't feel like they're pathetic when you watch them. Although they lose every game. Like they seem semi-competent from time to time. Like
All these teams do. They all have everyone else has 2 wins or
you talking to the mic.
sorry. I mean, they all seem semi-competent at times. But Carolina seems the least competent the least often.
Is anyone in the NFC South good, James?
first of all, I just want to say I want to redo my answer. I think the Chicago Bears are the worst team. There you go. I wanted to say that. Let's see. NFC South. Let me see. NFC South. No, it's definitively the worst division out there, and I have hope that my boy Baker Mayfield, which that was a brutal loss today at home to the Falcons. I was really hoping they were going to win that soft ass division. I still think the Saints are going to win it, but overall, that's just not a very good division. Not a very good one.
The Bucks play the Bills on a short week coming up next, but the Bucks got wildly outplayed in that game by the Falcons, and maybe the Falcons are better without Bijan.
That was weird.
Does he suffer from Percy Harvin syndrome? He has migraines on the sidelines. He can't come into the game.
That was strange.
There's something's got to be up with that because they put him back in at the end.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm now I was on Team New Orleans for that division. I still am, but Atlanta's
They're
winning me
not
over.
good. None of these teams are
winning
good.
me. Atlanta does stuff. They're starting to win me over.
Like they're great at turning the ball over inside the 10-yard line.
They could just
4
stop doing
consecutive
that.
times.
Like they are halfway competent performances from Ritter away from being like the 3rd best team in the NFC. Because the NFC is 4th best.
What couldn't they just be the NFC Steelers? Right? They just hang around long enough to get lucky enough to win games.
Fair
So
enough.
you think that they're better than the Lions?
No, I don't. Although if they played, no, I don't. They could beat the Cowboys though.
I mean, they could beat
could
anyone.
beat the
It's the
Cowboys.
NFL. Anyone. I mean, the Cardinals beat the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Like, I think the Cowboys are a better team than the Falcons. The Cowboys are probably
Did you like your Pop-Tart?
no.
No.
That's not for me. Too much sugar.
Oh, yeah, it's a lot of sugar.
Yeah, it's just far too much sugar.
Yeah, if you don't eat sugar on the regular, you can't be having that stuff. You know,
Yeah.
it's just like overtly sweet.
You can have the rest of that one. Whew.
What was the filling? Was it strawberry?
Yeah, it's strawberry. Oh, yeah, it doesn't. What is it? Is it not strawberry? What is it?
Strawberry is like the typical one, or at least it was when I was a kid
raspberry.
many moons ago.
Raspberry. My kids love raspberries. But yeah, I guess I just didn't grow up eating those first bites of a Pop-Tart I've ever had. F is where I would put it.
Okay. I like them, but I
Yeah,
understand.
people seem to like them. They're not for me.
No, I appreciate that. Different horses for different courses.
I mean, some people wouldn't like chicken liver tartine or parfait.
I do like liver. Beef liver.
Yeah,
calf
but you
liver.
like liver like in a frying
liver and
pan.
onions with bacon. That's good stuff.
It's like what homeless people eat.
No, it's
in the
you only
20s.
think that because that's what Chester J.
Yeah,
Lampwick
homeless
wanted.
people in the 20s eat liver and onions. My grandfather, who's from the middle of nowhere, enjoys himself liver and onions.
Because it's
they grew up so poor.
It's delicious.
It's not delicious. It's really disgusting.
Well, I disagree.
I mean, you're sitting there like double fisting Pop-Tarts.
You
too.
could make liver, I bet you, in an air fryer.
What's that?
You can make liver, I bet, in an air fryer.
I don't even know if I'd want to buy.
No, fair enough. But
Unless you can like fatten up a duck on purpose just to extract its liver, put it into something that you can put on like a slice of toast, then I'm in. I don't know if I want to eat just liver in general. That's too much. Too much. Better meats out there.
well, yeah, I agree. It's not the best meat, but it's pretty good.
All right, so who would you say is the most average team in football?
That's a great question. My usual
The
answer to that
Saints.
would be Tennessee.
The Saints? Tennessee? Tennessee just might be bad.
Houston.
Yeah.
Houston is my average team. Houston is good enough to compete against anybody, but not good enough to be good teams, but good enough to beat any bad or middle of the road team. I'll say the Texans. Colts are right there too. Colts are a right middle of the road team.
What about the Seahawks? Are the Seahawks the NFC Steelers?
No. They're not winning their games by magic. They're just playing worse than they did last year, but in an NFC that's even weaker. They're okay. They're like a playoff caliber NFC team. Like they're going to win 10 games, and then they're okay.
So Nicholas in the chat has a question, James. This is for you.
Uh-oh.
Could you imagine how good the Chargers could be with a competent quarterback?
Oh, the slander. I mean, I'm a Justin Herbert truther, probably because I've been listening to Feinberg too long, and I've just always been drinking that guy's Kool-Aid. But man, he looks a little off this year. Like I think we're gonna find out sometime in the later on in the year something that he was suffering with some elbow or shoulder or finger injury, because he's just not. I mean, the guy can just throw lasers like nobody else in the NFL, and this year those lasers are just always off, and it just I've watched too many of their games closely to not feel like something's just a little wrong in his giddy up right now.
So I like Justin Herbert. I'm a fan of Justin Herbert. I like Jeff's team. I hope they do well. I think Justin Herbert's a great quarterback. I'm getting a little tired of people deciding to make constant excuses for him.
It's every week. It's like you just said it, James.
Some of
we're
it
gonna
is-
find out something. It's are we? Is that he sucks?
You know, I don't know what. No, that's too strong. But like, some percentage of this is his fault. Now, I haven't decided what percentage to assign yet. But like
5? You say 5? 5% his
but
fault.
He's a Chargers fan. Like, there's some percentage between 5 and like 20% that's on Justin Herbert. It just is. I don't know what amount, and I don't know that it's going to continue, but he can't just keep. Yeah, but some percentage of it is on him. Can't we just admit that? Can't we be on? He isn't the greatest quarterback who ever lived. He's a really good quarterback.
He's a really good talent.
I would crawl across broken glass to have him playing for the Jets. Most teams would, but let's not kid ourselves. Some of this is regression of how he was playing, and that can happen. It's okay. It can get better again.
I have such a Tim take, Pat. Can I please say this? Because like Tim has inspired me with all of his freezing cold takes, but now I have one, and I think like this is exactly something Tim would say. Have you ever seen those videos of Justin Herbert coming out on the field during practice and stuff, and how he's always looking down at the ground and how he doesn't make eye contact? I think the answer to why Justin Herbert sucks is any quarterback that's not confident to look other people in the eyes and always be looking up and ahead can never be a successful NFL quarterback. So I think that's his problem. It's a lack of confidence, and we can see it by the way he carries himself.
So your position is that Justin Herbert is a beta and therefore no good.
Absolutely.
Good, not as good as he could be.
I would be lying if I didn't say that you've influenced that take right there. You're awesome.
You are like a bizarro Andrew Tate. You're inspiring the people for crazy opinions out on the internet. That's going to be you.
No, I don't want any affiliation with that person.
You need to like find something to hawk online. Some sort of the Cust system.
There is no system.
Well, you just say that there is a system, and we can start selling it. We can make millions on this. Jared in the chat says liver pate is awful. Well, Jared, I'm sorry you're a classless fuck who no one likes.
He probably eats cat food.
Yeah.
Thinks it's liver pate. Gee, why is this meow mix pate no good?
Oh, Jared. Oh, this is too good. I cannot have it. Give me my Pop Tarts. Inject those into my veins.
But see, this is why I'm a man of the people.
Get
I can
away.
enjoy that stuff, and I can enjoy the pop.
You enjoy what food don't you like?
I don't like mushrooms. They're the spawn of Satan himself.
So outside of mushrooms, is there anything else that you don't like?
I don't like raw tomatoes or ketchup.
You like raw tomatoes, as in like you don't like to eat a raw
Yeah,
tomato like an apple, or you don't like
I don't like a slice
of
of tomato on a burger or in a salad.
Interesting.
I don't like olives.
Important question, Tim. When it comes to the mushrooms, do you not like the flavor or do you not like the texture?
All of
Because as
it.
I've gotten older, I've realized it's just the texture that I don't like, and
Both of it.
I still have that 6-year-old texture problem.
It's the texture is gross. I mean, that taste you get in your mouth when you eat a mushroom is your body telling you biologically you should spit it out because it's bad for you. That's how bad mushrooms are. They're awful.
I mean, I like cream
think
of
that's
mushroom
gonna be-
soup, so I guess I
It
can't
is-
hate the flavor that much.
Yeah, it's fungus. It's vile. If there was a law, I would be against it.
Mushroom and ravioli getting big ups over here, though?
Yeah, amazing.
All right. Crowd is digging.
Well, the crowd just lives here anyway, right? So
I'm trying to think. I mean, it's not that I don't eat Italian food, but that's more of my stance against Italy
yeah,
than anything else. No, thank you, Italy.
you don't like a lot of seafood,
You say that, but what
but you don't. You don't like lobster. You don't like
lobster's
crab.
trash. Lobster's like eating rats.
There you
don't
go.
eat rats
You don't like
either.
it.
But
So
you
you
don't eat rats.
No,
you
I
didn't
don't.
bring up rats. Some shit that eats trash
like
at the
lobster.
bottom of a barrel. That's all lobster are.
I know, but I like lobster.
They're like
Something I've always wanted to know, Pat. Do
Lo-
you eat a ton of French
You don't,
food?
you don't like mayonnaise.
lobsters are the pigeons of the sea. They
I
just
know.
eat trash. They're disgusting.
I know.
Yet people think there's some sort of
Because
delicacy.
they
I don't
taste
quite understand.
delicious. That's why.
They don't taste delicious.
Okay.
Crabs taste better than lobster.
I love crab.
I like crab as well, but lobster's just gross.
Okay. Well,
Trash.
okay. I
Trash.
heard you the first time.
Well,
and
I
the
mean,
second
but
time.
you didn't go out of your way to say I don't like pigeon. Why don't you eat pigeon then? You like other bird and other fowl?
Pigeon is foul. I wouldn't eat that.
No, it's a fowl.
It is also a foul.
But lobster's basically the same premise. It just lives in the water.
I know, but I don't know. I can't defend it, and I'm not going to try to defend it, other than it's tasty, and so what?
But how do you know? When's the last time you had pigeon?
Pigeon might be, what is it? Pigeon, what is it? What does he say in Pulp Fiction? It might taste like pumpkin pie, but I'll never know.
I suppose that's true. But anyway, that would be the comparison if you're looking at, or a seagull or something like that.
I'm sure that would be very vile as well.
Yeah. So yes, French food. I do enjoy French food. I was actually telling Tim there's only like one place where we live that sells like beef bourguignon, and I do enjoy going to get it.
Yeah, that is, beef bourguignon is delicious.
But it's not something that people eat on the regular.
No, it's true. Not here.
Anyway, yeah, people love lobster. Not for me. Just a real trashy. And it gets boosted up like it's a real classy thing. It's not. It's the trash of the sea. It'd be like what Mr. Burns would catch with his 6-ring quart of scoop. Just throw it into something. Something like animals should eat. Like feed it to animals. That sounds better for me.
Delicious.
Anyway, back to Herbert. If Tua was playing like this, so Tua plays well, but it's never Tua's doing. It's all the coaches doing.
See, people talk that less like
No,
that now.
it's the other way around. They're
like-
they're the anti of
But
each
he's
other.
like co-MVP favorite. So like
Yeah,
people
but
no longer talk
You
about
don't
Tua
give
that
him
way.
any credit. The media, whenever
No,
we
I
talk,
do. I
if
think
we
he
talk
should be
about
where
who
he
would
is.
you rather have, James? Would you rather have Herbert? Would you have Tua? Everyone just says Herbert, but Tua's the one who actually wins games.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I'm on Team Tua, but just and that answer just because I'm starting to get a little concerned about Herbert. But and I do kind of like scrappy winners. You got to remember, my favorite player is Baker Mayfield, who used to actually win games back in college. But like I like those kind of guys that are just scrappy gamers, and he's much more of that than Herbert. Herbert's just one of those guys that looks like he was made in a lab, but he'll never win anything, much like Trevor Lawrence.
Except Lawrence won a national championship. He's won something.
Well, because he was on a superior, he had a great team, but like he'll never win. You think he'll win a Super Bowl?
I wouldn't say impossible. He's got a good enough talent. Like he's a level of quarterback that should win a Super Bowl or could.
Wow, that's a fresh take coming
No,
from
but
you.
like
You
he's
said
like-
you had him in the CFL this time 18 months ago.
Let's say he can hit like Matthew Stafford heights. Well, Matthew Stafford won the Super Bowl. So could Justin Herbert. So could Trevor Lawrence.
If
That
you
wouldn't
got
be
to take
impossible.
one of them right now on the Jets, which one would you want?
I would still take Herbert, but
What if Tua was available?
I would still take Herbert. Listen, I'm a fan of Herbert. But I'm not a fan of the constant excuse making, or the people who won't even abide any partial. Like, come on, folks. Let's be honest with ourselves. He played poorly today against the Chiefs. He didn't play well. Let's not pretend that he did.
Oh, Yannick is actually chatting in the chat. I see it. It just said if Herbert had Hill, he'd just be having. See again, it's the Herbert versus Tua thing. Well, Tua can't be good. He has a great coach. He has great receivers.
helps
Nothing
that-
he does actually contributes to it. Herbert, it's the exact opposite. Well, he has a bad coach. He has bad players around him. Nothing could ever be his fault.
I mean, he does have a bad coach. He doesn't have as good of players around him. I mean, those things are fair to mitigate in the conversation of Tua v. Herbert. Those are fine mitigating factors. I've said to you, I think Tyreek Hill's the MVP, not Tua.
But every time that the game is on the line in these Charger games towards the end that they're losing, what is happening? Herbert's just throwing picks. Is that on the coach?
I mean, he did that
or
against
is he
Dallas.
throwing picks?
He did that against Dallas too.
For the past 2 years, he's had Eckler, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams. Whenever Mike Williams is healthy, you're saying that's not comparable to Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and Raheem Mostert? I think that the Chargers have comparable talent to the Dolphins.
80% of it at best.
Then why isn't he getting 80% of the results?
Well, they both made the playoffs and lost in the wild card round last year. I would say that's pretty similar.
I mean, Tua didn't play in the playoffs.
No, but Tua's team made it to the wild card round and lost, as did Herbert's. They are getting comparable results. I bet you if you looked at their win-loss records as quarterbacks, they're probably very close to each other.
I believe Tua's I think Tua's record is very good.
I mean, Herbert's would be too. Like, he made the playoffs.
Is
They
Herbert
missed the playoffs
is
another
Herbert
year.
above 500 as a quarterback starter?
I would say yes.
Are you sure?
No, but I think yes.
I think he has to be right around.
Because the one year they missed the playoffs, they had a winning record.
And do they have a winning record?
When they lost to Oakland there in that Sunday night game.
Paul, you were going to say?
I'm going to test to see if the microphone works here. I think it does.
I believe that it does. James, can you hear Paul?
Yes, I can. He's distant, but you can definitely hear him.
Okay.
Justin Herbert as a career starter. I don't know if today's game is factored in. 27 and 29.
Okay.
How much value do you think Jeff's Herbert rookies have lost?
Oh, well, it's not his fault, so they've probably gone up, realistically.
It's not the Cards' fault, that's for sure.
There's no way they went up. People were buying so much stupid stuff back when he was getting into those cards.
So, as a starter, Herbert is 27 and 29. Tua is 28 and 14.
Okay.
So it's not even close.
No, you are right. It is not that close.
And I'm not saying
But he said easier division. That's right. The AFC East has been an easier division by and large.
But it's funny because the Chargers have beat the Chiefs in that stretch with Herbert.
They have. One time with Herbert, I think that's right.
On that Thursday night game?
So, I mean, I don't know what we're
saying
doing
the
here.
AFC East is easy. Is there any team out there in particular that you would say makes it kind of easy over the past several years?
No.
Okay.
No, I wouldn't.
No, I would still take Herbert over Tua. I'm with you guys, but I just think that it's ludicrous that Herbert gets.
I just don't know what the purpose of a drive-by smear against the Jets was there.
I didn't say anything. I was like, you
oh,
thought I was
please.
implying the Jets?
Yes, of course that's what you.
Tim.
Of course, that was
Unbelievable.
Yeah, like that wasn't a complete just smear of the Jets for no reason.
I come on here as a big fan of yours, and now you're going to accuse me of taking drive-bys at your team?
I'm sorry. I'm on edge. I got people lying to me about Pepsi's in a Coke fridge. There's a lot of. I'm on edge.
Pop-Tarts weren't good enough for you?
Pop-Tarts were really good.
So another thing you can make in the air fryer.
Yes, Pop-Tarts were really good, folks.
Is the air fryer has the best record going right now, 7-0.
Yeah, it hasn't struck out yet.
Now, if it does, are we going to treat it like Justin Herbert or Tua? Like, will it be the air fryer's fault that the food is no good, or is it the food's fault that the food is no good?
It's the recipe.
I really hope
It's
Jeff's
always
not
the
watching.
recipe.
Why?
I feel like he's in enough pain right now.
Well, I don't get to hear about. It's just like with you and the Jets. I have to hear every offseason that the Jets are the best team in football. They can do anything wrong. We watch the games. They're absolute dog shit, and they don't do anything. All I get to hear from Jeff is how special Justin Herbert is, and they can, barely make the playoffs. Eventually, maybe they'll be great. But at some point, we also have to concede that maybe he's Kirk Cousins. What? Kirk Cousins has been a good quarterback in his career.
That's still too low.
Why is that too low?
I'm not there yet. I'm not.
You called Kirk Cousins both better than Aaron Rodgers and a top 5 quarterback in the NFL.
I know what I said. I'm not going to close that door yet. I'm on the way on that road, but I'm still, I'm just a Herbert supporter. Just I'm here to shine a light for the people who are blindly defending Herbert at every turn to say, come on, folks. It's not 100% not on him. It's just not. At some point.
Yeah. I think that's
So,
a stance.
I'm trying to be
the stance that this show is going to
I'm
take.
just trying to be a moderate here.
Going forward.
Yes.
Yeah, but if you say anything critical about Herbert, you're the bad guy.
Well, I don't know. I'll just turn my mics off and turn my camera off. Go la 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 la.
Oh, I did want to point out, not the spread show this week, the spread show the following week. I think we're going to do it in 2 parts because Jeff and I have to go trick-or-treating with our kids, and we don't want to miss that. And that's usually when we film the show. So we're going to do half the show on the Tuesday, maybe half the show on the Wednesday or Thursday, whenever it might be, whenever we can get back together to do it. But as a reminder, I'll remind people again on the other show. James, did you play in the Restart Survivor League?
I did not. I've lost so much money at Survivor over the years because like
it's free.
I don't
it's
know.
Free.
What? Wait, I thought the one with $5,000 up top was free.
Yeah.
You know what, Pat? I want to just take a second to apologize because I sit there on my show every week and I say the same thing over and over and over, and people still don't hear what I say. And then I watch literally every one of your shows and you say the same damn thing about the Survivor thing every single time, and I still didn't fucking hear it. So I got nothing but an apology. I'm a piece of shit, and now I can no longer judge all these people that watch my YouTube shit because I'm exactly like them.
Here's the thing. If you go to leaguesafe.com/PME, you can still join and be able to pick either the Sunday night game or the Monday night game right now. So we're still on the table here. Free to play, $5,000 up top. Probably a lot of people eliminated today. I would guess
say so. With
they
the
probably
Buffalo
took
Bills.
Buffalo.
Yeah.
Not Paul and I. We're alive with Seattle.
Yeah, good pick.
Can't believe I went 0-3 on best bets again.
I mean, why do you mean you can't believe it? It's sort of become your
It's
thing.
like my thing. I did tell Rob that I'd rather be like 0-3 every single week than alternate between 1 and 2 and 2 and 1.
Congratulations.
At least people can fade my pick. I guess the Packers didn't even cover today.
They had to have done well though, because the Birds had a good day.
Yeah, I think
Pat,
the
you did
Seahawks
say
covered,
league
the
safe.
Ravens covered, the Falcons covered.
You're just cutting off our guest.
Oh, I didn't hear what you said.
You did say
You're not,
league safe, right?
you don't listen to anyone, do you?
Stop it.
Do you listen to anyone besides yourself?
I listen.
Do you? You didn't know our guest was talking? You're just talking over him?
Sorry.
James, go ahead.
You said league safe, right? Is where to go?
Yeah, leaguesafe.com/PME.
The opening line on League Safe is "Don't be Tim." That's literally the opening line on League Safe's homepage. What are the chances of that? Don't be Tim. That's the literal opening line on their webpage.
It does say that. It's not you, though. The guy doesn't look like you.
Okay.
Yeah, but what a coincidence! What a coincidence!
Yeah.
It does say, don't be a Tim. Because Tim's a guy that, like, is bad with money and not being able to pay. Tim's like a crackhead who might steal your money instead of paying you out for your fantasy football league.
Oh, okay.
That's why you should use League Safe.
Okay.
And they just call him a Tim. That's kind of the thing. Who's not going to score the first touchdown tonight?
Goddard. I don't think he does much tonight. I don't think the Eagles do much tonight.
I can't go and log on to go see the odds because we have to guess the odds here in a second. Yeah, fade Pat's picks, winning strategy. It's true. Or take my prop picks. Prop picks winning, spread picks losing. But I'm just getting all my prop picks from Run the Sims. So I'm not actually making those
honestly,
picks.
and I mean this for your show on Wednesday, pull a Costanza.
Just do the opposite?
Pick the 3 games you like best and go the opposite with it.
Okay. I like
Pull a
it.
Costanza.
Now we'll go 0-3 again.
Well, whatever. At least you will have tried something different.
That's true. Because I'm trying the same thing. And
That's
it's
what I
not
would do.
working whatsoever.
I would pull a Costanza in your position.
All right. Let's guess the spreads for the upcoming week. I don't know if Paul is going to be able to. Apparently, we can hear you, Paul, but you're quite muffled.
Yeah, I don't really have a working microphone back here. I tried something else. Does that sound a little bit better?
James?
Still pretty rough. So, sounds about the same as it did.
I don't know if I should even.
Okay, so I'll pull up the stuff on ESPN where they do not have the spreads
Okay.
for week number 8. Schedule week 8. And Paul, you can yell if you go on DraftKings Sportsbook behind the computer. You can yell out if we're right or not.
Sounds good.
Does that work?
Yep.
Okay. So Tim, you can start. James, you can go second. I will go third in all of this. The first game that we have is the Thursday night matchup: Bucks at the Buffalo Bills, who are reeling at the moment.
Yeah, I don't think it matters. Bills by 7.5.
Nailed it.
Yeah, I have Bills by 8. It'll be slightly over a touchdown.
Yeah, 7.5
like
is
the
the
Bills.
correct answer. Cust wins. 2 points for Cust to start off with. James, Sunday, you are up first. It's the Rams at the Cowboys coming off by.
Cowboys minus 3.5.
Not correct.
I don't even see this on their board.
It's
Oh,
not.
I got it now. Okay.
Is it 3.5?
No.
Okay, so I will guess Dallas by 4.5.
Nope.
It's either 5.5 or 6. Has to be 5.5.
6.
You get the point anyway.
I guess I couldn't get the double point anyway. I picked
No.
third. Okay.
You could have got it right, though.
Yeah.
Then you would have got credit for being right. There was a couple of people asking how you came on last week to talk about everything that you're always right about. They would like to hear you speak about how good the Raiders are now.
Didn't have their quarterback. Let's go with that.
So excuses for the Raiders.
No, not
the
excuse.
Bears didn't have their quarterback either.
No. Bad game. Very bad game.
Okay.
I don't know what else to say about it. They played badly.
Next game is my pick first. It's the Vikings at the Packers. I will have Minnesota by 1.5.
Nope.
Is it me?
Yeah.
Packers by 1.
Yep.
Wow. Cust is right again. 5 points for you, none for James and I. James barely even get a chance to pick here.
Sorry.
Tim is up first with Atlanta at the Titans. And it does. I doubt that Ryan Tannehill is playing in that game. It will look like it'll be Malik Willis.
Atlanta by 2.5.
I'm trying to find it.
Paul is searching for
Nope.
not 2.5. James, your pick.
Atlanta -3.
Nope.
Atlanta? You said Atlanta -3?
So did I. I said 2.5.
I thought you said Tennessee.
No, Atlanta. Minus
Oh, okay,
2.5.
I'll just try to do the Price is Right. I'll take Atlanta by 2.
Atlanta by 1.
There we go. Point for
I
me.
was gonna say that, but Andrew Cust was so hot. I just tried to follow his lead
I like
there.
the
So I tried
Falcons
to
in
just
that game.
try to go a half point ahead of him.
It's a great matchup for Atlanta.
Why would you say it's a good matchup for
It's going to be a
Atlanta?
low-scoring game, and who can run the ball more effectively, and I think the Falcons can.
Because it's going to be another ugly game that they can win, being the Steelers of the NFC.
I don't know. Tennessee, if there's one thing they can do, is actually run the ball.
I guess.
They have 2 running backs and now a running quarterback.
Yeah, but I still think the Falcons are the play.
Do you think that Ritter is significantly better than Malik Willis?
No, I don't.
Okay. Because if there's a way that you want to beat up on Tennessee, you want to take advantage of their shit secondary. I don't know if maybe Atlanta will be able to do that, but that's not usually their big strength. So, James, you're up first on the Saints at the Colts.
Super Bowl rematch.
Goodness gracious. Colts -1.
Nope.
No, Colts -2.
Nope.
Saints by 2.
Pat wins. Colts -1.5.
Oh, it's a split.
It's split.
Let's go.
Split -1.5. Yeah, the Colts have to be favored there.
I don't agree.
All New Orleans does is lose games.
I know it's a road dome game, though. I like the Saints in that
So
spot.
because they're on the road,
and coming off a mini bye.
because they're on the road, they should be favored
No.
by more than if it was
I
at.
think
So
that-
what you're saying is that Indianapolis would get more credit if this
No.
game was in New Orleans?
No. But I just coming off the mini bye. I don't think the home field advantage matters much at all. Anyway, okay, I'm
All
wrong.
right. New England at Miami. That means it's my pick first. I'll say it is Miami by. New England just won. Miami by 9.5.
Nope.
11.5 for New England.
Yes. 11.5.
Wow.
Wow.
That's been the magic range. 11.5, 12, 12.5 for these big spreads all year.
You're nailing it here. It's your pick first. Jets at Giants.
Oh my goodness.
How devastated will you be when the Jets lose to the Giants?
Heartsick because I have already accepted this as a W. The Jets are definitely favored. Is it 2.5 or 3? 3. Jets by 3.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yes!
Ding.
Unbelievable.
Yes!
Unbelievable.
9-2-1 is the current score.
Over.
Well, there's a lot of games left here. There's no bye weeks.
That's true. For some reason, there's no bye weeks this week.
So,
no
James,
sense.
it is your pick on Jags at the fraudulent, to quote you, Steelers.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Steelers -1.
Nope.
Steelers -2.
Nope.
It's Jags at Steelers, right?
Correct.
Steelers 2.5.
Jags -2.
Wow.
Ooh.
James picking up the point.
We were way off on that one.
Steelers.
Yeah, we all played it wrong. I'll take the win by
For
default.
all the same reasons that I picked New Orleans, actually. Coming off the mini bye, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, that just translated to Jags because they won that game.
Books don't believe in Pittsburgh either.
No,
Books and James see the same thing that
They're just going to be the team that no one wants to bet on yet covers every single spread, especially as, Tomlin as an underdog is pretty good. I saw Tyrod, if he ends up starting in that game against the Jets, I think his record career is like 26-2 ATS as an underdog.
Wow.
There's something crazy.
And he's going to be a favorite in that game.
He's not going to be a favorite.
Or sorry, an underdog. Sorry,
Yeah,
in that
an
game,
underdog.
yeah.
Philadelphia at Washington. It is my pick first. I will say this is Philadelphia by 7.5.
Nope.
7 flat.
Nope.
James?
6.5.
Yep.
Fuck.
Let's go. We're on the heater now. 2 in a row. Don't call it a comeback, Tim.
9-3-2 is the current score of this game. Houston at Carolina. Tim, it is your pick. Two teams coming off the bye week.
I think the Texans have got to be the favorite. Texans by 1.5.
Nope.
Where the fuck is this game?
It's in Carolina.
Yeah, it's in Charlotte.
Are you looking up the spreads over there, James?
No, I'm just looking at the games. It's just easier to look at the games. If I were looking at the spreads, I wouldn't be getting my ass kicked. Okay. Oh, is it on me?
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm sorry. What'd you guess, Tim? I wasn't paying attention.
I picked Texans by 1.5, and that was wrong.
I will go. I'll just make it tough on Pat here. I'll just go straight pick 'em. Straight pick 'em.
Nope.
Texans by 2.5.
You win. It's Texans by 3.
Oh, I got a point.
By 3.
Points. I like the Texans in that game.
Nice.
Okay, the Panthers are going to get their first win there. I'm going to money line bet that one.
Yeah, the whole world's going to be super comfortable with the Texans in that game, and they're going to lose or something.
Next
Panthers are
game.
gonna beat 'em.
I guess, Tim, you're up first in this one? No, it was James is up first. For Cleveland at Seattle.
Oh goodness. I guess it's got to be the Seahawks minus 2.5.
Nailed it.
That would have been my guess.
Let's go.
9-5-3. The 2 points for getting it absolutely correct. I was trying to figure out if Cleveland's defense, because they looked shaky indoors today.
They did.
For, like I said, 10% of plays when they gave up like 80-yard plays and not just beat the shit out of Gardner Minshew. I'm just trying to say they had that shitty game against the Ravens when Dorian Thompson, whatever, was playing quarterback. Like
write that off.
That one kind of seems like a write-off. They had the weird game against the Steelers when I think the Steelers defense scored a bunch.
They did.
Man, 3 games this year they've given up, or 2 games this year they've given up 3 points. This is an interesting one. Seahawks D, shockingly really good.
Playing good. It should be a good game. Should be a fun game. I would lean Seahawks, I think.
And what was the spread again?
What did you guess? It Seahawks by 2.5, which is what it should be. These teams are pretty even.
You don't think that Seattle should get the full 3?
No, I think they're about even these days. 2.5 is the new 3.
Did you watch much of that game, the Seattle game today with Arizona, James?
I watched it all. I had Geno stacked, so I was watching every play, and I was feeling like a genius for the first half, and then not so much in the second half.
That's like the second week in a row, like against the Bengals. Like he looks off.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to describe it.
Yeah, no, I'm not something does seem wrong with Geno, right? I do not think that they are I think they're a sheep in wolf's clothes. That's why, I mean, I really would take the Browns and the points just looking at this line early on. I think it's going to be sloggy. I think they're going to get after Geno, and I do not think he is ready for a team to play defense like Cleveland does.
I mean, we saw that with Cincinnati. Like when Geno really folded was when they amped up the pressure on him. He just couldn't, even today. Like it's not that Arizona got much pressure, but every time they did, it was just a bad decision from Geno.
It's true.
So I'd be interested in that. Although you could almost say the same thing with Seattle against Cleveland going back the other way. Like Seattle's generating pressure.
Yeah, you put either put PJ Walker out there or an injured and not that great Deshaun Watson. Like, okay.
So it's my guess for Kansas City at Denver. Didn't we already see this game like 2 weeks ago?
I'm sure we did. Yeah, with Thursday night
it was
last
a
week.
Thursday night game.
Yeah.
So Denver coming in hot, riding to win. I was trying to think of what the spread in that
I know
was.
what that spread was.
What was the spread in that game?
I'm not saying anything. Did you have to go
I'm
first?
trying to get the info.
I'm not saying anything.
I think it was 10.5 because they covered it.
was.
Because they covered the 11. I know they covered by the
it
hook.
was.
So if that was 11.5, I'll say Kansas City by 9, Paul.
Nope.
Chiefs are getting more steam. Chiefs by 10.5.
Nope.
I'll just go with what I was going to guess, 8.
8.5.
So we split.
I was going to say 8. I should have played the freaking Price is Right game. I just whatever.
We both get
Amateur hour.
hey, you know what? You're being a nice guest. You gave a point to me on that one because we split it. We both get a point. You're only 3 behind Tim, who declared this over about 5 minutes ago, by the way. And I'm up to 4 too. Baltimore at Arizona. Tim, it is your guess.
Baltimore by 8.
Nailed it.
Oh, man, right when I was saddling the comeback horsey, Tim with the dagger.
So you need to get this. You need to basically hit this one. Is Cincinnati at San Francisco? Good game.
Oh,
Super Bowl
goodness.
rematch.
That is, I guess it's going to be what 49ers minus 7.5.
Nope.
49ers minus 6.5.
Nope.
6.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Process of elimination.
you have locked up the week. Another win for you. Coming off back-to-back ties of the week with me.
Tim, never forget that I bring out the best in you.
Thank you very much, James. I appreciate that.
Chicago at the Los Angeles Chargers is the Sunday night football game.
Who goes first?
I believe it is me. Chargers.
No, you just went first, didn't you?
No, I thought James went first.
Oh, okay.
No, it is. Yeah, it's your go.
I went first on that 49ers game.
Yeah, so it's my go first
Okay.
on this one. So Chargers by. It should be higher than it's going to be. I'll say Chargers by 6.5. Paul.
Nope.
7.5.
Nope.
7.
Tim gets it. 8.5.
8.5. Wow.
I had to go for it. I had to go for it.
How do you feel about the Chargers? If you went up to the window and be like, "Hello, sir, I would like to bet the Chargers minus 8.5
On Sunday Night Football. I get the backup QB in a stadium which will be 90% Chicago fans.
I mean, it very well might be the right side of that game, and the Chargers might just win by 35, but I don't know if I would feel comfortable doing that. Like, if everyone loses all their money all day long on
They all
Sunday,
chase it
and
with the
everyone
Chargers?
chases their money with Chargers minus 8.5, just bet Chicago money
Yeah,
line.
you deserve what you get.
Bet Chicago alt spread, like Chicago minus 10 or something like that, at 30-1. Because it'll just end up being a disaster for the Chargers.
Wowzers.
Dallas Goedert won't score the first touchdown, by the way.
Correct.
Monday Night Football, your mighty Lions, your Super Bowl NFC
Yeah.
contending Lions are hosting your boys, the Vegas Raiders.
8.5.
Nope.
Is it me?
Yeah.
It's you.
I'll go 7.5.
Ding, 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 ding.
7.5.
Let's go. I started to get the hang of this.
Yeah, Pat and I are an unfair advantage every week, just about.
I don't know about that.
Except for the week that who was it
Yeah.
that got everything right?
What's the advantage?
Yeah, what is the advantage?
Just we
do it all the
this
time?
every week, so we sort of have an inside thought of like, oh, the books always give this team or that team too much credit.
Yeah, I mean that's a solid point because those first few games I was like, man, I'm just pulling these numbers out of my ass, and by the end I was like, I think I got a feel for what I'm doing now.
So 13-8-4. I had a very poor week. I wasn't off on that many spreads. I was off by like a half point here, maybe a point there. You're just nailing them.
Yeah.
I didn't even get to guess on like 5 of them. Now I can go look up to see what that Dallas Goedert first touchdown is. Oh, last thing I wanted to get to, because we noticed this during the game, is there was the talk for like the first 3 weeks, James, that like, oh, maybe all the talk before the season, like, oh, the AFC is so much better than the NFC. But then like the really good teams in the NFC started winning games. Like, oh my God, the NFC is really good. The NFC might be terrible. For like, you watch them play these AFC teams. I guess like Chicago beat
The Raiders.
the Raiders. But everything else, like, the Steelers go in, they beat the Rams. The Ravens beat the shit out of the Lions. Turns out maybe the AFC is just very good top to bottom.
Yeah, the AFC, in my opinion, seems much better top to bottom, and the NFC has more of like the bottom dwellers. And I'm going to hang on to my Eagles take. I still think the Eagles and the 49ers are a class above everybody, so they would probably be my first and third best teams in the NFL right now. So I guess the NFC is probably a little top heavier with a bunch of shitty teams down at the bottom, whereas the AFC seems to like really have a bunch of the middle part of the NFL conquered there. So I bet if all the AFC teams played all the NFC teams, you probably give an advantage to the AFC teams.
Dallas Goedert, 15-1 at DraftKings Sportsbook.
Before we get out, moment of the day was when Myles Garrett leapt over the offensive line and blocked that field goal.
I forgot.
He nearly stole it in midair. Unbelievable.
I wonder if that is good. I think we asked if that had ever been done before.
I can't imagine it ever has.
That anyone has blocked a field goal by just catching the field goal and running the other way.
Unbelievable.
Additionally, my moment of the day is not that. My moment of the day is Ron Rivera's neck roll that was a towel for
It's a
some
scarf.
reason.
You're like, why is he wearing that towel, like a scarf.
It was really strange. But he also wore it like it was a...
Tucked in like it was an ascot.
Yeah, but it kind of looked like he had a Bubba Watson golf shirt that was done all the way up, but underneath of a sweater vest at the same time. It was... is it real? Is it hot neck?
Yeah.
Oh, I got a case of the hot neck. I need a nice cold towel out here.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Ron Rivera. Give your head a shake, pal. Build a better offensive line. James, can you tell the people where they can find you all week?
Yeah, so I'm mainly a YouTuber. Like I'm on Twitter at the Degenerate75 on Twitter, but I'm a terrible Twitter follow. I just say go search on YouTube, the Degenerate75. I do NFL, college football, PGA, and soon to be NASCAR content for DFS and sports betting. So if you want that and you want your DFS content in a slightly different way, where you're not just getting picks and plays, but maybe a little bit about how to play the game from somebody who's been doing it for a long time, come check it out.
If Jalen Hurts gets over 46.5 rushing yards and Kenneth Gainwell rushes for over 11.5 rushing yards, I win $2,000. So let's go those two things, because Jamison Williams under, Puka over, same game parlay, Michael Wilson over, Keontae Ingram. Oh, my prize picks from the my big prize picks one from the show on Saturday.
The
Yes!
$500 one?
Yeah, the $500 one won.
That was you just casually dropped $500. I was like, look at Pat being a baller all of a sudden. Hey.
I only do that with my prize picks account because I either want to lose all the money or run it up to 10 grand. So I'm just like, yeah, I'll put $500 on that. Whatever. It's been working so far because I built it back up from like 1,000 back up to like 3,500, whatever I'm at now. So let's get up to 10 grand. Go ahead.
I literally hit rewind on the show because I was like, I didn't know Pat was so casual, just $500 bets. But now it makes sense.
Yeah, I wish I had played. Well, I mean, Patrick Mahomes over rushing was the run the Sims top play on the prop sniper, and I just hammered it everywhere I could. I just hammered that, and it worked. One of these weeks it's not going to work, but this week it did work. And Derek Carr threw the pick on Thursday night, so that would be very nice as well. So I need those two things to happen. I wanted to bet Zacchaeus first touchdown, but he's only 25-1. Who's some loser that we can bet on the Dolphins' first touchdown just to have a sweat?
Craycraft.
Craycraft's on injured reserve, so it's not going to be him. You are correct. He is not going to score the first touchdown.
Smythe.
Durham Smythe?
Yeah, Durham Smythe.
Not Braxton, your boy, Braxton Berrios?
Nah, unless he returns a punt, he's not going to score, I don't think.
Probably more likely than Smythe, by the way.
Player props. What is Durham Smythe? 35. No, I'm trying to see what his odds are. 35-1. All right, 35-1. Let's do it. Durham Smythe. So Durham Smythe, and I bet Goddard just for you.
Okay.
James, thank you so much for being on the show. I really enjoyed it.
It's been a pleasure, guys. I wanted to tell Tim that I for so long thought you were just a caricature and you weren't real, and then I finally realized that not only are you real and your beliefs are legitimate, but you're also very sincere. So I want to apologize for not always realizing that you are the genuinely crazy person, and that I'm a big fan of yours. And Pat, as always, it's such a pleasure to be on your show. I appreciate you having me on.
Thank you for the kind words, James.
Well, James,
you're the man, Tim. You're the man. I never miss your shows.
If you're doing NASCAR, then maybe we can work on something. I have an idea for golf season for the two of us, by the way. So let people stew on that for a moment, and maybe we can talk offline and get that figured out. However, smash a like to the episode. If you didn't play in the free Survivor contest, you can still do that with the Sunday night game if it hasn't started yet. Or Monday Night Football if you want to get in $5,000 to first place. LeagueSafe.com/PME, and boom, you can get yourself entered in that contest with a pick. All right? Smash like on the way out. Sub to the channel. I'm Pat Mayo, and I will see you next time.